All right, one other thing that you can do, well, a couple things in this one real quick. You can do, one thing you can do that's kind of interesting is 3D text. So if we click in for the other options, there's a 3D text option and you can pick whatever you want. I might do Mr. Leggett for right now. You can pick what font you want. I don't know if I'm too picky. Let's try play ball. That seems pretty fancy. How high you want it, whether it's filled in, all sorts of little details here. That looks good. Let's see what happens. I'll hit OK. And there you go. There is Mr. Leggett in really fancy cursive. But it seems kind of lonely, just a name all by itself. So let's make a little plaque for it to go on. I'll use my rectangle tool. I'm going to make it a little bigger. So I've got some extra room to play with. It's somewhere around there. And you'll see I rotated the camera above it so I could get a good idea of how big to make this ahead of time, right? So that looks like a good rectangle. I'll rotate down so I can determine the height a little bit better. And we'll make it a little taller than the name. Just like that. So there we go. If we wanted to, we could then move it over, but I don't know, it's not looking very exciting just yet. A little plain. So let's make it look more like an actual plaque here. So to do that, we're going to do 2 steps. Well, I guess there's more than 2 steps. Number one, we haven't looked at this. So in this program, it's called the line tool or the pencil tool. In other programs, it's called a knife. So way back when we did our well, we saw we could make an extra line to kind of break the shapes up. Well, the pencil tool lets you do that as well. So right here, I want to click. I need to be able to see my whole thing here. I can click so it'll lock right to the middle. So let's lock right to the middle. We'll do a line right to the middle of that one. And a line right to the middle of that one. And now you'll see that there are 2 separate faces on each of these. So I'm basically cutting it in half down the middle. We'll come over here and we'll do the same thing. And we'll come over here and do the same thing. And now I've cut it into basically 2 pieces all the way around. So why would I do that? Well, I am going to add what's called a bevel. So I'm going to make the top of this indented a little bit because that looks nice most of the time. So if I line it up right on the edge here, then that's going to let me use my area select to get all of the top. So that's just the top and the top edges. I need the edges too. And then I'm going to use my scale tool, and the scale is only going to apply to this top face now. So if I do my scale tool and grab these ones are kind of picky. It kind of have to do them individually. You can't do it all at once that I found. Actually, control, toggle around center. That could work. Let's click this. We'll press control. And all of them kind of move in together. Let's get right up above it so I can make sure it's doing what I want it to do. That's not quite what I want either because it's kind of coming in faster on the sides than on the top and bottom. That's not quite what I want. All right, we'll have to do it the hard way. So I'll grab each side and I'll bring it in like 1, 2, 3 clicks. And here it jumps. 1, 2, 3. We'll take a little look, see if that's... Yeah, it looks pretty good. Maybe I'll bring it in a couple more. 1, 2. Right there. Yeah, that looks nice, I think. I think that's a good bevel. And that's all you need that. But I am going to keep all this part selected. because the inside, we're actually going to push it in a little bit to make room for our name. And if you remember, that is the offset tool. So once I have this whole, only the top, only this one ring, I can do an offset tool. And then if I click anywhere, it'll pull it in the same amount all the way around. Let's go about there. And now this outline is separate from this middle part. That means I can select just the middle part, use my push-pull, and I can bring that down in. Now, let's move our name into here. Well, it's a little small. Let's scale it up a little bit. There we go. That's not too bad. And then finally we'll do our texturing. So I'll grab the whole thing, go to our materials. These are usually made out of wood. My computer's being really slow at picking texture. I think something a little darker would look nice. So there's the wood, and then we'll grab the name and we'll make it something that stands out a little bit more. You could do stone, you could do metal, you could just make it a color, all sorts of options. Let's do a shiny metal. There we go. And there is a nameplate that looks really, really nice and fancy, and that's your task for today.